NHREIA, or not a member of the NHREIA, gets to present a deal that they've done to the group. This is a great way to get exposure to a group of investors and tell them about the kind of business that you do. And we're always looking for additional House of the Month speakers. So if you or anyone you know has done a deal that they would like to present, whether good or bad, in fact, the bad deals are often even better to present than the good, we would love to hear from you. So find me or find other members of the board, if you or anyone you know, to Karin Provencher. She is out of the REMAX Synergy office, and she runs the NHREIA Gals team. Her building company is Proven Homes. She has 32 years of experience in real estate investing. That includes fix and flips, new construction, and she also does bath and kitchen remodels. Her full-time focus and main business is running NHREIA Gals, but a pretty seasoned investor. Karin, come on up.
Thank you. I want to thank Brenda from Stagework. She is a member here and helps run everything here, and she's the one that invited me to this. So, thank you, Brenda. This is a flip that I did last year, about this time. This is the house here, is at 58 Purchase Street in Manchester. I purchased it for $205. It was off market. It was a former client of mine that was handling an estate. He knew I did flips, so he called me, asked me if I was interested in it, took a look at it and put the offer and put the deal together. What I purchased was a 732 square foot, 2-bedroom, 1-bath home. The second floor wasn't finished, that's why it was so tiny. And what I sold was a 1,256 square foot home, 3-bedroom, 1-bath. Some of the renovations I did was put a new roof on, painted the exterior and the interior, resurfaced the driveway, new kitchen, counters and appliances, new bathroom. I kept the original tub, I had reason for that. New windows, refinished the hardwood floors, new carpet on the second floor, did insulation, new ceilings on the first floor, upgraded the electrical, it was fuses. I did a pre-listing home inspection also. My total costs with repairs and carrying costs were $85,000, and from buy to sell date was 132 days. And purchase price $205, sale price $345. I'll just put a small slideshow together of what I got and then what I did to add value. I'll go through more detail of the 3 major things I felt like I did to add value. Number 1 was this fabulous kitchen that I got. Woo! Gorgeous, huh?
All right.
It was the same family that owned this home its entire existence. So it was a cake that was built in the 50s by the person who's passed away's parents. And that was a single child who lived there his entire life. When both parents passed away, he continued to live here. And I don't think it ever got cleaned in 50 years.
Nice.
We did find a couple of good treasures, but nothing like incredible. So this was what I got for a kitchen, and this was the process of the kitchen when we did the renovations. I was such a bonus that we found hardwood floors under the old laminate floor, and we're able to do the hardwood floors over, so that was a huge bonus. I like to do kitchens a little bit different. I love a backsplash. I hate a 4-inch apron, backsplash on granite. I love to do a tile backsplash, so I always do it. It's a few $100s. I highly recommend because it definitely elevates the property, and it's not a lot of money to do it. Again, beautiful hardwood floors. This is after staging because I did have Brenda stage it. I do have her stage my new construction also. I think it helps people with spatial awareness of like what scale of furniture, especially on a small home like this where all the rooms are pretty tiny. You put undersized scale furniture in and it helps people visualize what they can actually fit in a room, where if somebody just walks into a small room, it's sometimes very hard for them to understand what goes where and if their humongous sectional can fit. This was the mudroom, and I considered this part of the kitchen renovation because This was a mudroom that wasn't heated. I ended up doing spray foam insulation underneath, insulated the walls, removed a couple of the windows and put real windows in to make the kitchen feel bigger. Again, I was dealing with a 732 square foot home, so I was trying to do anything I could to make it feel bigger. And this was a very easy way to widen that doorway to the kitchen and make that feel like it was definitely part of the kitchen and part of the living space. It came out beautifully and it opened up nicely to the kitchen. The next major thing I did to add value was this vintage 50s bathroom that, again, I don't think one thing was updated since the day it was built, except for this beautiful flooring that became yellow. And there was hardwood floors under it, amazingly.
Whoa.
So that was incredible. But I did keep the tub because it was a beautiful cast iron tub. And my tub guy was able to refinish it and made it look like new. This is it in process. You can see a little bit of the hardwood floor there, and that was the start of the tile. I tried to lean a little bit into that mid-century flair that the house naturally had. And this was the finished product. Again, beautiful hardwood floors, tried to do a mid-century flair to the light fixture, mid-century type of tile, and the tub came out absolutely fabulous. And then the third thing that I did to add value, and this is probably where I spent a little more money than I had to, but I would feel horrible giving this house without spending this money, was the second floor was pretty much a shell. Number one thing we did was raise those roof rafters, and this is something everybody should note for the future, because I know in our office, we had the first appraisal ask an agent if the second floor had 7 feet of clearance. And these 1950s capes do not. I mean, the ceilings are usually 6 feet up there. So we raised the roof rafters as high as we could, and then I did spray foam insulation to try to create some kind of R factor, because as you know, old 50s construction, there's just not enough with the roof system to put good fiberglass insulation. So I did end up spending $10,000 on insulation between everything because of the spray foaming up here and underneath the mudroom area and everything, because I did want to add that living space and make it proper and correct the way it should be done. And then I did tongue and groove up here. This flooring was pretty beat, so I just ended up putting a good padding with carpet, and you can see the way Brenda staged it. It really felt spacious. It felt like 2 rooms up there. We made it into one big room with a walk-in closet right here. But it felt like 2 separate rooms that somebody could either have it as a master or do it as a nice teen suite, which is what ended up happening. A dad bought it with a single dad with a kid and made a nice big teen suite up there. One thing I will say, if you are looking to flip, is to please pay attention to your basements. I just showed a flip to a client the other day. The upstairs looked decent, it looked good. We got down to the basement and you could see everything that was not maintained in that house from that basement. I'm a big fan of painting basement floors, even walls if necessary, dusting the heating system, spray painting your oil tank, you can see there, because these are areas that when people get to the basement of a flip and everything is so beautiful, and you get down there and everything's still so dusty and dingy and dirty and rusty, it will completely turn people off and it will make them feel like you've cut corners. So I can't stress enough, like, finish your flip from top to bottom. This is some other areas. This was the living room. And here, I don't think we can see in that picture. This again was the living room. I did all new sheetrock ceilings. You'll see in some of these photos, that was the finish of the living room. We had extra tongue and groove pine, so it did an accent wall there. And again, this is Brenda's staging. I don't know if I can see it on the, oh, this was new. This is, you can see the new sheetrock ceiling. This had that old school, you know, the little 12 by 12 little cardboard squares that were on the ceilings in the 50s. So that I ripped down too, because again, I feel like that completely dates a house, and it just, you can paint them all you want. It's still gonna feel dated and old to people. And especially when you're putting in a brand new kitchen, brand new bath, and you leave those ceilings, you've just wasted your money, because when you have something that old against something so new, it makes it look even older. This was the other bedroom that was done. That one we made into a little office area. This was the outside. You know, again, just, you know, bringing the staging a little bit out to create a little bit of curb appeal. And that's it. Okay.
All right, awesome. All right, awesome. Thanks very much for presenting, Karin.
Yeah, very good.
We have time to do a little bit of Q&A. Does anyone have any questions that they would like to ask Karin? Oh, we got one back here.
Did you get the extra added space in the attic account, like in the tax card?
So, yes, it is counted in the tax card now. The concern moving forward with houses like this is that appraisers, if you don't have 7 feet of clearance, they're not gonna count any living space up there. And if you do gain that 7 feet of clearance, they're only gonna count the living space that exists underneath that 7 feet of clearance. So it's just something to keep in mind for your flips going forward, because this is a brand new rule. We knew it was coming down, but about 2 weeks ago in our office, we had an agent that got that question for the first time. So, you know, again, when you're dealing with a house of this age, like if I bought this house today, I'd probably dormer out the back so that I could really get the living space up there, because that would have only counted for that narrow strip down the center. I don't know how this is gonna work for appraisers moving forward, because you have to think, you have all these appraisals that have already happened that didn't have the 7 feet of clearance. Now, how do you make a proper comparison, right? I think the rule's gonna end up going away, really, but for now, it's here.
All right. I have a question. I just want to confirm the recap numbers. So you bought it 205, sold at 345.
Yeah,
And so what were your total expenses again?
85,
85. Okay, so you made $50,000 in profit.
yeah.
Okay, so here's maybe a newbie question, let's say, but so you made $50,000 on this deal. How is that taxed? Is that income tax? Is that capital gains?
Capital gains,
Okay, so it's capital gains.
Yeah.
So would it be short-term capital gains?
yeah.
Okay, short-term
But,
capital gains.
I mean, when you calculate it, because I just did it because I was doing this presentation, I figured out it's like $675 a day when you figure it out.
In
So-
taxes?
No, in income.
Oh, in income, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like just, I like to think about it like that, because you have to think like, what is your day worth, you know, and
Right.
like, what are you making? A lot of those days were passive, because it was a lot of just me saying to the crews to show up kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, it's, you know, it's absolutely incredible money, you know, when you
Right.
think about it in that way.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
$650 to make a phone call, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
That's pretty good. Any other questions?
Do you have a regular, I'm sorry, do you have a regular crew that you use to keep it busy, so you can do your flips, or do you just kind of, who's ever available?
I do have 2 main subs that I use for all my interior finishes that I've used for years. One of them is my brother, and another one is SBL Construction. I use them a lot. And for my builds, yes, I have 2 main framers I use. For my electrical, I have 1 electrician I use. My heating guy unfortunately retired, so if anybody has heating, I'm breaking ground on a 6-unit townhome that I'm building in Pembroke, so I'm looking for heating bids. If anybody has an HVAC guy that they can recommend for new construction, I'm gonna be building 6 townhomes in Pembroke this winter into spring. So I'm looking for recommendations there, because my heating guy retired. But in general, yeah, I have crews that I use all the time, guys that I use all the time, yeah.
That's fine.
Fantastic. Any other questions for Karin? Okay, seeing none. Thank you very much, Karin.
Very good.
All right.